old route. So a little bit of a gap between these two guys, but as we've seen a lot in this tournament, deaths happen, big setbacks happen. So who knows? We'll see.
Yeah, anything can happen in Super Metroid.
And they're off.
So we're going to see a little bit of series before the whole run gets underway.
Yeah, as always, this first part is pretty straightforward. Once we damage ourselves down at Ridley and start the escape sequence, it's a bit more hectic, and there's a bit of RNG involved with all the steam and the tiles in one of the rooms.
Yeah, but other than that, there's not a whole lot going on. Starting the little escape sequence here. Normally a good time would be about 46 seconds on the timer. But there's lots of RNG with the steam.
Ooh, Leo got a really good stairs room.
Ooh, very close to 46.
Yeah, that was a really good time coming into the last room. And Cheaty with the 42, so yeah, they haven't gained or lost much time on each other yet.
Yeah, it's just a slight lead by Leodox, but anything can happen. Especially in Super Metroid. So I believe both of our runners will be doing old route. And I think the world record is about 44 minutes flat.
Yeah, apparently Z Music got like a 43:59.99, but
Oh wow.
yeah, I don't think he's gonna post it till he gets a better one.
Yeah, that run is insane. Had it pretty recently too. Oh, it looks like Cheaty is using the Moonfall, and I don't think I caught Leodox using the Moonfall.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain he does not use Moonwalk at all.
So the Moonfall from earlier on Cheaty's stream, what it does, it uncaps the fall speed of Samus, and so you can continue falling faster and faster, which is a pretty nice little time save.
Yeah, you might notice whenever they use it in really big rooms like that, some of the tiles after you land look kind of messed up just because the game can't really keep up with how fast you're moving.
Yeah. We got Smurf Ball and missiles. We going back to the climb. Probably one of the more technical areas in the game.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting some of these rooms, despite not having much equipment and being, the first 5 minutes of the game, they're actually pretty difficult. Specifically, this pitless room they're coming up on, and then the climb, like you said. And as you can see, just like what Leo did falling down there,
Yeah, falling on a
it's a
couple
little bit of a
times.
time sink.
Should be using the down grab method to get across the pit room. So we're going to see the wall jump climb from Leodox and the behemoth style climb from Cheaty. I think both strats are pretty difficult to do. Both of them require lots of practice.
Yeah, it looks like Leo had a bit of a cleaner climb, so he's going to be the first one to reach BT. This fight is pretty straightforward. Basically, once BT is vulnerable, you want to shoot 5 P shots at him. And then he's going to, if you back him into the corner, you can shoot these orbs. And hopefully you can farm up enough missiles to kind of stun him. And then still have some missiles left over that you can jump up and finish him off. And it looks like both of them, unfortunately, not having any leftover missiles after their first pickup, so a little bit slower of a fight, but still not a problem for these guys.
Yeah, you're definitely at the mercy of drop RNG when you're fighting Bomb Chizo. Either getting some no drops or hoping you get some missile drops if you're taking some damage.
And since these guys are doing old route, health is not really that much of a concern up until their first boss, so they're just going to run through these pirates and save all their missiles for the first red door.
Yeah, for a new route run, it's very important to conserve as much health as possible because the Phantoon fight is really unforgiving. But both of these runners will be going to fight Kraid first, and there's not a lot of threats as far as like health goes, so they can just take damage from the pirates. Right, first super missile from Leodox.
Both runners getting a nice mock ball to pick up those early supers. Very essential if you want to skip the first mini boss. Well, second mini boss, I guess.
Nice mock by Leo. Yo, that Kago mockball by Cheaty. Very nice strat.
And both the runners picking up charge beam, which is very important in this run, as picking up charge beam and a few other beams for damage output is much faster than going and collecting a ton of missiles and super missiles.
Yeah, especially important for bosses. There's the charge beam method for Kraid, which you shoot a charge beam at Kraid to stop his hand from moving around and blocking any missile shots. And there's the X Factor for Phantoon coming up later. So there's lots of good uses of charge beam, and especially Mother Brain, of course.
And Leodox skipping the spacer beam as expected. Normally, beginners will often grab spacer because it increases your damage output. But once you learn how to use X factors on a lot of the bosses, it's sort of pointless to grab it at that point. And then usually the runners will start to ditch it, and Cheaty also skipping that spacer beam.
Nice warehouse from Leo. Alright, coming up for on Leo's stream is going to be the Kraid fights. and see if you can get the crate quick kill.
Yeah, based on having missiles selected right now, it looks like he's going to go for the 2 missile 3 super method. He's going to fire 2 missiles here at Kraid. One of them was supposed to damage Kraid, and then he could finish him off with 3 supers. And it looks like he's going to be using that charge beam as a backup in order to freeze his hand.
3 supers,
Very
1
nicely
missile.
done.
It's a very nice backup. Especially if the two missile method goes wrong, the charge beam is a solid backup. Very nice by Cheaty.
Yeah.
You know, the 2 missile 3 super method, the crate quick kill.
Yeah, it's a little faster to not use the charge beam just because you need to get up a little faster to start charging the beam, which usually causes lag in the room. But really, it's kind of one of those things, sort of like the strat you use in the climb, where it's just sort of about preference and what's comfortable for you.
Yeah, exactly. Usually picking the strat that's most comfortable for you is really the way to go. If you're trying to do a strat that you've never done before, it never goes well.
Mm-hmm. And Cheaty picking up the Kraid tank, whereas Leo skipped over it. Typically, if you want to start picking up extra E-tanks in this run, this is the first one you would want to grab, just because it is so early in the run that it kind of just pays off in so many different areas, pretty much for all the bosses, and also Lower Norfair.
Yeah, and for the races, it's a really good idea to go for safeties. Because one mistake and your run is over. So you either have to forfeit or restart. And either one of those options is really bad.
Ooh, Cheaty, unfortunately, I think he meant to turn around and shoot that Sova, but he ended up actually moonwalking and didn't quite get that shot off.
Yeah, that's one of the problems with Moonwalk, is that there could be little minor movement mishaps just by having Moonwalk on.
Yeah, so unlike what Leo did, where he just went straight up here, you actually need to kill this Sova and then shoot the door open, because it's just gray unless you kill the Sova first. And by doing that before you pick up the high jump boots, you don't have to worry about it on the way back. So unfortunate little time sink there, but he recovered pretty well.
Yeah, I thought those enemies were called Novas, or are they called Sovas?
You know, it's kind of a hot topic in the community right now.
Oh, really?
I definitely call them Sovas. I know there's people that don't like that, but
Yeah, I think I've always heard them called Novas, like since Metroid 1, I think. But I'm not sure. I'm not a Metroid 1 player.
I'll tell you what though, I have a poster in my room with all the enemies, and it's like all to scale and everything, and they're called Sovas on there. So
Oh, really?
that's canon to me.
It makes sense.
And
Right.
both the runners getting over Bubble Mountain pretty easily.
Yeah, they go over Bubble Mountain to collect Speed Booster, one of the more important items of the game, and also to go fast. Going fast is pretty important in the speedrun.
Yeah, I gotta agree with you there.
Speed Booster is also one of the more complicated items in the game. While it does make you run faster, it also alters your jump height depending on how long you've ran. And that could really throw off movement for a lot of players. And of course, Shine Sparking is also a very complicated item as well, or technique.
So this part of the run is kind of really the only section where you're just strictly going to pick up items, being Speed Booster Wave and the Missile Pack over by Wave. For the rest of the run, more or less, they're pretty much just me going for bosses and sort of picking up the major items that are along the way.
Yeah, this Norfair item collection segment is really to be able to get to Phantoon, to cross the moats in the ocean. I mean, alternatively, you can get Grapple Beam and cross the ocean that way. But that's like a whole another boss. So players will just collect their Speed Booster and Wave Beam and go on to fight Phantoon.
So something important for this section is your ammo management. The door that leads to the first power bomb packs requires a super, and there's also 2 doors that require a super going into Wreck Ship, as well as a Ghidorah, where you would ideally use a super. So it's really good that both these guys are heading up with full supers. Leo is actually a bit low on energy. You normally want to pretty much be at max coming up to this part if you plan on going for Ocean Fly. So hopefully we don't see him having too much issues with that coming up here.
Yeah, one of the nice things about picking up an extra E-Tank along the way, so you don't have to worry too much about health management. Let's see if Cheaty will do a Alpha Spark. Looks like he's setting up for it. Ooh, just a little too early. Ideally, you want to do the Alpha Spark to cross the room that Cheaty's in. It saves a little bit of time. But normally for a going in with like 2 E-Tanks, you normally want to avoid doing the Alpha Spark just because of the health consumption of Shine Sparks.
And Cheaty, he was really close to getting a down grab red tower. He just barely didn't have enough height, but I really respect him for going for that. That's a tough strat.
Yeah, it's always very close when you're trying to do the down grab.
So kind of fortunately for Leo, he didn't get Ocean Fly, so he ended up saving a little bit of energy. And I would say this is kind of like bare minimum what you'd want to go into Phantoon to be like really comfy on a 3-tank run. Pretty much whether you use X Factors or Dopplers, you sort of expect to get hit by Phantoon at some point. So being able to tank a couple hits can be pretty beneficial for this fight.
Let's see what kind of RNG Leo's going to get. A mid. Solid first X Factor.
Yeah, that's a really good strat for that pattern.
Let's see, maybe it's going to be a right. Yeah. Very nice fight. You'll say mid Phantoon with 2 X Factors. One interesting thing about the Phantoon fight is that you can despawn flames by running into them. So instead of taking a hit from Phantoon, You can use that hit to despawn a flame, which makes it a lot nicer to line up X Factors. And you don't want any one of those X Factor particles to hit a flame.
Absolutely. And Cheaty coming into this fight with over 2 E-tanks, he can afford to be extremely aggressive, and if he needs to run into some of those flames just to make sure his X Factors are lined up right, he will have no hesitation with that.
So kind of fancying we're going to see from Cheaty. It's going to get a slow.
Ooh, very nice Attic Spark from Leo there.
Ooh, that's like I think it's like an accidental super.
Yeah, it must have been. Another good use of Charge Beam here is the Pseudo Screw. While you have your Charge Beam fully charged and you do a spin jump, you're actually invulnerable to a lot of projectiles, and you can actually kill a lot of enemies using that technique too. It does 200 damage when you spin jump into enemies like that, and as long as that's enough to kill them, Samus doesn't get injured at all. It looked like Cheaty was going for a Doppler finish there, but unfortunately didn't get the super off in time.
Nice shot by Cheaty. I think it was like a 4-round with the 1 in rage.
Leo with a 22-minute gravity time, that is pretty respectable for old route. So now with the gravity suit, the runners are going to be able to head down into Meridia. And from there, just a quick plasma beam pickup and then a straight shot to Lower Norfair.
Of course, defeating Dragon along the way, because there are 4 bosses that are required to get to Torian. And you fight the final boss of the game, Mother Brain.
I think Cheaty is going to go... Yeah, he's going to go for a left side Attic strat here with the speed keep at the end. Let's see if he gets it. Nice short charge. Super's at Atomic. Oh, just barely missed that speed keep. He got most of it, so he can just use ammo on the rest of these enemies to open the door. Nice job,
Yeah,
Cheaty.
it's like a solid addict strat. Got a little caught up at the end, but it was still very good.
Yeah, if you're going to mess up any part of that strat, that is definitely the part you want to mess up.
Yeah, because like when you like mess up the beginning part of the addict strat, like whichever one you choose, the worst part to mess up is the beginning.
All right, Cheaty, just waiting for his gravity suit now while Leo's going into Meridia. Ammo management is extremely critical here. Assuming you use an X Factor on Batwoon, you're going to want 6 supers in order to get a 1 round. And there's also a green door right before Batwoon, another one before Dragon, and a Ghidorah right before Dragon. So really you want to be at like max supers or as close as you can here. And fortunately, both of these guys have pretty nice super counts leaving the ship, so they didn't really have to farm much.
Yeah, there are some farming opportunities after wreck ship. There's I think 3 cacti along the way, cacatax, and they all have a very high chance to drop a super.
When Leo going with that X Factor opener, it looked like one of the particles missed though, which basically means he needs to shoot an extra super or 3 extra missiles in order to take down Batoon. It looks like, yep, he's down.
Yeah, one of the worst parts about missing the X Factor is that one of the particles from the X Factor can just like fly around and prevent Samus from shooting any beams or any missiles. Well, it looks like Leo's going to go for a full halfie. But it was pretty close, but I think he activated the spark a little early. It's kind of hard to tell.
Yeah, it looked like he kind of jumped too soon and ended up bonking the ceiling right after the door. It's a pretty tight window, so it's easy to kind of be a little jumpy there. You go up to do the spark.
Yeah, normally what people do is if they know they're not going to get the full halfie, they would just choose to go for the regular halfie as a backup. Alright, Leo's going to do his ray gun fights. Okay, pretty good opener.
Yeah, the optimal way to take out Dragon is with Shine Sparks like Leo's doing right now with an X Factor opener. I think that would have got her, but fortunately gooped that one. This is probably... Oh, no blue suit. That's probably the scariest part of a 3-tank run, I think. Just because there's always a threat of chain damage and or getting rough patterns from Dragon and taking a lot of hits. But he handled that pretty well.
Yeah. He's going to start his Batoon fight. Looks like he's going to set for X Factors.
Looks like all of his landed. Ooh, that's a really nice pattern too. Beautiful one round.
Solid Batoon fight.
Ooh, nice womple jump from Leo too. Didn't get a blue suit after Dragon, but he managed to time some space jumps in order to keep his momentum coming out of the precious room. And Cheaty going for full halfie.
Oh, that was really, really close.
Yeah, like I said, it's a pretty tight window. I think max you're going to get like 20-something frames on it if you're quick enough.
Alright, Cheaty is gonna start his Dragon fight. So Leo's gonna do the Plasma Beam Room.
Looked like a good opener from Cheaty. Getting that lotto. Ooh, and he saw he was going to get hit there if he went for the short charge, so he's going to go back, do another one. Very nice kill, Cheaty.
Yeah, nice kill. But also no blue suit.
Yeah, neither of these runners getting blue suit, unfortunately.
So as I understand it, if Samus is in a running state for the Shine Spark, I think the game like stops Samus, like does a force stand, but since Samus was running beforehand, it sets the speed back down to 0, and that cancels the blue suit glitch. Alright, so after the Meridia segment, we're gonna go back down to Norfair again and defeat the last of the 4 major bosses.
Yeah, outside of the ice beam that Leodox is about to pick up, there's really no other items you need to complete the run. You might grab Ridley's tank if you want a little bit extra safety, but at this point, it's pretty much beat the bosses, finish the game.
So it can be a thing that players collect Ice Beam earlier in the run, but that's really only useful for Red Tower in case people have some difficulties getting past the Rippers. I think it's intended that you use Ice Beam for the Rippers and use them as a sort of bridge to climb up. With all these speed shreds, they can delay the collection of Ice Beam and also avoid some item switching to do X Factors on both Fantoon and Botwoon.
Alright, Leo now coming into the Gravitron room. He's going to want to lay a power bomb strategically here, such that it opens the door, but doesn't kill that Viola, but it ended up killing him anyways. Which isn't too bad, because he did get some extra power bombs. It looked like he was a little low.
Yeah, normally you want to lay that power bomb a little higher, so the power bomb opens the door, but does not kill the last enemy at the bottom. And so you can set up a nice damage boost to the lava. Right, Leo's setting up for fast pillars.
Ooh. Just barely not getting that shine spark.
Yeah, now he has to use power bombs instead, which is a good thing that he collected more power bombs earlier.
Yeah, like we've been saying, ammo management is pretty important throughout the whole run, and in this section in particular, knowing exactly how many power bombs you have and how many you need to use is pretty important.
It's also a really good idea to like know like where you can collect more resources.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a few places you can farm power bombs on the way here, and if you do end up kind of misusing them, there is the power bombs of shame, which we don't want to get for obvious reasons.
Yeah, since that room had a yellow door, the only other place to get power bombs would be the Firefly E-Tank room, and that's even worse. Nice Kego though from Leo.
Well, it looks like Cheaty's taking the southern route from Ice to get to Lower Norfair, doing some nice space boosting through that door. Landed in a great spot to build up some speed. Nicely done. Those are a hard set of rooms to do right, at least compared to the northern route that Leo took.
Sakachi's gonna set up for the D-boost. Slightly too far to the left. Very nice. Very nice D-boost. There you go. Starting his Ridley fight. Takes 20 shots to defeat Ridley with Ice, Wave, and Plasma. And a good indicator of how far your progress is with the Ridley fight is when Ridley changes color. At least to a red color, it's about 10 shots, or after 10 shots. Yeah, nice fight by Leo.
And Cheaty with the fast pillars, nicely done. I like to use his moonwalk there to push himself back in the door to get some more room.
See Leo setting up for the Wasteland Speedball. What? It looked like he got it, but
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
yeah, it looked like for sure he was going to get the Speedball, but he just like broke one of the blocks instead. Just kind of odd. I never really seen that before.
And now Leo coming up to one of the scariest rooms in New Route. But with the full beam combo here, it is much easier. As you can see, using that plasma beam to hitbox through these enemies.
You've taken 2 hits. Yeah, the Three Musketeers are one of the most deadliest places in New Route. Especially trying to escape Lower Norfair with a limited amount of energy. And red candles do, I think, 50 damage.
Mm-hmm.
And so the whole area is just like not safe.
Ooh, Cheaty going for Plowerhouse there. Unfortunately, his beam didn't quite reach the door. That was a nice jump to go for it.
Alright, Cheaty starting his Ridley fight. Taking a couple of hits here.
Ridley should be pretty close now. Very nice. I would say Ridley for beginners is probably one of the more difficult bosses, but once you kind of get a feel for his patterns, it's probably one of the easier bosses, relatively speaking, in Old Route, at least in terms of surviving the fight.
Yeah, because Ridley has quite a few attack patterns, and if you don't really recognize those, it's kind of hard to avoid Ridley's attacks. And one good time save on the Ridley fight is shooting charge shots. It might sound kind of obvious, but a lot of players tend to shoot a little too early because I think there's a bit of lag frames, and that kind of interferes with the charge beam. Charge beam takes exactly 1 second to fully charge up, but if there's a little bit of lag, it kind of changes the charge beam time a little bit.
Cheaty got a really nice speedball coming out of Wasteland. He is doing really good on his energy too, picking up that Ridley tank. Shouldn't be too many issues escaping Lower Norfair. And now Leo just waiting a G4 to start his final section of the game.
Practicing his diagonal bomb jump. So coming up are the 4 Metroid rooms and the baby room. I think the Metroid rooms are one of the most technical places in the game as well. At least in terms of like using your controller.
Yeah, if you play even just a little bit of Super Metroid, you probably realize with item selecting your missiles, super missiles, all that stuff, it's kind of awkward in trying to do a room like this where you need to shoot and then switch to ammo and then switch off to your beam. It's kind of difficult.
Yeah, it's a real handful with as far as inputs go. And so to go through Metro rooms very fast, you need a lot of practice.
And Leo, not getting bad luck on the drops. Coming out of the Metroid rooms 20 and 10. You will have 5 spare missiles for his Mother Brain 1 fight, which is a pretty good amount of leeway.
But also going in with just 3 tanks, so any kind of mistake can be really deadly. As to survive Mother Brain's scripted Rainbow Beam attack, you need exactly 301 or more energy to survive.
Yeah, now that he got that baby skip, very nicely done by the way, he has no reason to refill, so he'll be at that 369 going into Mother Brain. And I think most of her attacks do like 20 or 40 damage, but you can get hit by 4 onion rings at once, which will do 80, which is a death sentence. So while the fight is pretty short, it's only 20 charge shots, mistakes can happen there.
Yeah, Leo taking quite a bit of damage there, trying to set the skip. Ooh, taking extra hits. Monka S. So Leodox has 327 energy left for the Mother Brain fight, and he needs at least 301 or more energy to survive the scripted Rainbow Beam attack, or else Leo just dies.
Yeah, I want to say the French fries can do 40, if I remember. Maybe it's 30. I'm pretty sure it's more than 20. So basically only 1 hit from most of these attacks is what he's allowed.
Yeah, I think French fries do 30, but I'm not really sure. Ooh.
Okay.
307. Nice patience. Didn't jump too early after that bomb.
Okay, Leodox is good. Only 1 catch-up beam. He dodged it.
Yeah, that was really close. that bomb and French fry combo almost nailed Leo, but Leo played very patiently. Because players like to jump a little early to avoid the bomb, but get caught by the French fry. So very well done by Leodox.
And now Leo gets to sit through a little bit of cutscenes before his Mother Brain 3. And Cheaty, his G4 statues crumbling down. they'll be heading into Torian.
Alright, while that cutscene is going for Leodox, she's going to start his Metroids. I actually didn't know you can moonfall from there. It's pretty interesting. I try to do some grouping strats.
You know, I didn't catch Cheaty's G4 time, but I want to say he's like on a really good pace for himself right now. Maybe like PB pace, but if not, like pretty close.
Nice Metroid rooms from Cheatyface. Got a little caught up on the first one. So he's setting up for the Rinka boost.
Yeah, that D boost there is a great way to save on some energy since the Rinka only does 10, whereas these side hoppers there do 30, I think.
Yeah, 30. Especially, it's a very good strat for 3 tank runs. You need as much health as you need as possible, really. See that baby skip.
Oh, didn't quite run back enough for that last jump, and the baby caught up to him. Very nice try though by Cheaty.
Facing left though.
Don't look back.
It's probably one of the worst parts about missing the baby skip. Wow, Leodox being Leodox.
Living up to his name.
But yeah, one of the worst parts about missing the baby skip is having to sit through the cutscene and having to refill the energy afterwards.
And Leo coming up on the ship now. He has
Good
finished
game.
with an official SRL time of 48:09. GG to Leodox.
Great run by Leodox.
Yeah, his PB was a 46:46, so about a minute and a half behind his PB, which I think is pretty respectable in any kind of race setting.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, what race was that where Leodox missed that ledge grab and he lost that race? Was that during the 100% tournament? Or was that the last time we had any percent tournament?
I don't remember. I didn't watch the any percent one, and I probably didn't watch much of the Hundo one either.
Okay, that was a pretty special moment. But anyways, Cheatyface starting his Mother Brain 2 fight. He has plenty of energy to spare. Although there is still a danger of the catch-up beam from Mother Brain, where it could double hit if 2 of the hitboxes hit Samus on the same frame. Yeah, solid Mother Brain 2 fight. So not really too much to talk about during the cutscene. It looks like Leo will go two first, or what? Have 2 wins in his group.
Yeah, I think so.
He has defeated Mr. Guy Average. I think with a was it a 47? Or no, 49, excuse me, and he has a 48 on this run.
I think he has the best PB in his group. So, yeah, it's not too surprising that he's been doing pretty well so far.
So I think for the tournament, only 2 players can get out of the round for the next, I guess, next round of tournament matches. So who is your pick for the people getting out of this group?
Out of this group?
Yeah.
Well, honestly, I got a pull for GD and Leo. GD's just a good friend of mine. I'd love to see him make it out of this one. And Leo, he's had a really good any percent time for a while now, and he was kind of one of the guys I always looked up to when I was grinding my time down.
Yeah, I think same here. Although I'm not too familiar with anyone else's PB, to be honest. But I think Leodox is definitely a strong contender for this group. I definitely would like to see Cheatyface come out of the group stage.
He's got second place on co-op any percent. Just saying, he's a prodigy. Ooh, going for that behemoth spark. I think he did it a little too fast though. He's going for the left side now.
So you're enough playing around, going for the normal right side shine spark. Will GD save the animals? Looks like he's gonna do it. Ponk would be proud. Be free, little guys.
And Cheaty dotting on the ship with an official SRL time of 53:54, which is a race PB for him by 1 minute and 30 seconds. So GG to Cheaty.
Isn't that also a real PB? At least according to DRT, I think it is.
No, he has a 52.
Well, regardless. Excellent
Yeah.
run by GD.
Yeah, he just doesn't have that one posted yet. But it looks like we got Cheaty in here. Cheaty, GG, man.
Good game. I don't think we could hear you if you're talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's really going on. But yeah, overall, great run by both of our runners. Definitely throw them a follow. I think that's the command. I beat you to it. Yeah, definitely follow Cheatyface and Leodox.
Yeah, I think we have another race coming up here, so I'll try to close this out here real quick. We have one more race tonight at 11 p.m. Eastern between Shiny Zenny and Stump on the Speedruns live channel, so make sure you tune into that if you want to see some more Super Metroid. Thank you all for coming in and watching all the really awesome races we had today, and thank you, Gala, for coming and doing commentary with me. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Slurs. It was a pleasure commentating with you.
Anytime, my man. And with that, I think we'll let the next guys come in and do their race. So thanks for watching, guys, and we will see you next mission.
See you.